Hey, it's Camo with the Nashville Access Facebook show presented by Solis North Gulch Apartments, where taste matters. A lot of people come to Canada or come to Nashville. What am I thinking? They come, we were talking about different countries. A lot of people come to Nashville from different countries, myself included, to do music. And we always hear about the Canadian contingent and the UK contingent and the Australian contingent, but very rarely do we hear about the Swedish contingent in Nashville. And today's guests are part of that movement. I can do your name, Karen, but
I'm not gonna, it's Göran.
Göran?
It's the G and the O with the dots.
Oh, the umlaut.
The umlaut.
That's my favorite punctuation.
Yeah.
That and the squiggly thing over it in.
Yeah.
Collectively known as Thyra, but it's spelled with an H.
Yeah. Just to complicate things.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right.
we like that.
You Swedes, it's like you have a different word for everything.
I know, we do.
Thanks for being here.
Well, thank you for having us.
It's great to have you. We actually met at the Apple store of Cool Springs, about a year ago?
A year ago, I think, yeah.
And,
we both open up, we need our phones.
Problems with their phones. I think it was Easter, wasn't it?
Yes,
Easter.
it was Easter.
And they didn't open until really late.
No. So we got our phones.
We got our phones.
Yeah.
So we traded cards and said, you got to come on the show sometime.
Yeah.
And here you are, finally.
Yeah, finally.
What brings you to Nashville this time around? I mean, you guys come quite frequently.
Yeah, we try to come at least a couple of times a year, and try to stay as long as possible. We do have 2 kids, so we kind of have to, make sure that they also get their schooling. And
You can leave them in the car, but as long as you crack a window.
Yeah, that's right now they're locked in a gated community, but we're not. They're pretty big, they can manage, but I mean they do have to go to school. But we try to stay at least a couple of months a year, and now we're in the summer break, so we're here for the summer, which is great. So we get to ride a lot and do a few fun things like this.
Yeah, this is great, and you play around town too when you can.
Yeah, when we can. This time we're not doing that many shows. We're gonna do one this weekend at Natchez Hills, a vineyard outside of Nashville. So that's gonna be fun. And then we'll do something in July in the city. But that's about it. We're mostly focusing on writing this time. So yeah.
And you're the studio geek.
The nerd.
What happens if I touch this button?
Yeah.
So tell me about how you have progressed as kind of, I don't want to say country because you're more of an Americana artist, but how does the country Americana situation look in Sweden compared to here?
It's growing, I would say, but if you say that you are an Americana artist, they're like, what? But then if you play your music, and Americana can be a broad spectrum of things, but it's a growing community in Sweden, and it's fun because you get a lot of listeners with this type of music, because it's not that far from our folk music. There are some elements that are, the same as the Swedish folk music, and some instruments too. So it's not as far as you can imagine, maybe, or could imagine.
I've seen pictures of country music festivals in Sweden.
Oh no. Okay.
But it seems all the Nordic states are like that, where people completely dress up and have incredibly blonde, typically Swedish women wearing black wigs and dressing like Pocahontas.
Yeah. I think, well, sometimes...
I'm not making fun of it, it's just a different thing if you're not used to it.
I think that country music used to be looked on as like only the big hats and the jeans and the truck driving and all of that.
Don't see many big trucks in Sweden.
No, but we do have dirt roads. So,
there you go.
But it's, I think that's I don't know, the image that we typically put on country music, and then when you come here, you see that country music is also a broad spectrum of of different genres actually under that same umbrella, country music. So I think we're getting there in Sweden, so that people are, it's not only the big hats anymore, it's a lot more.
I think that's kind of a European-wide thing, and it was the same thing in the UK. When I first moved there, I went to a country music thing, and there were guys dressed up like sheriffs, and but I think that, again, I'm not making fun of those people. That's just the culture that does that. And I think as country music becomes more urbanized, people are coming into that and saying, wait, it's not just this.
No.
It's this too.
And I might be, I'm not a country music artist, and I didn't grow up here, but for me, it's mostly about the storytelling actually. That's what I like about the type of country music or Americana country that I listen to. It's the stories behind the song and that are weaved into the lyrics, and that's what really, for me, makes the music. If I'm not just after something to dance, or like on the radio as I'm driving, that could be another thing. But I really like that, and I kind of feel like that is also something that people are bringing into the music in Sweden, traditionally. So.
The storytelling it's almost gone from country music, and that's why so many songwriters that love doing the stories are finding a home in Americana.
Yeah.
Not just here, but everywhere.
Yeah.
What was it that got you into Americana music?
I don't know.
Well, I think like what you said before, that it's not such a big leap from the Swedish traditional, our version of the singer-songwriter and the storytelling and the way that I grew up with my dad being a musician, and he played the traditional Swedish folk music. And when you toured festivals in Scandinavia, you would find that it's very similar to like bluegrass festivals over here, where people are standing around just having a jam session acoustically with the part maybe from the key harp, the nyckelharpa. You have the fiddle, you have the
upright
bass and the acoustic guitars, and the same kind of vibe to it. So it's not such a big leap after all, even coming from the northern parts of Europe to come over here and adapt to the music scene over here and find inspiration in what you guys do.
Your beard fits in here.
Yeah.
It does.
Well, that's something that started here. That didn't start at home. That started here. So, and it keeps growing.
I was trying to make up for my weird name here.
Have you been to the full moon picking party that they have here? Have you heard of that?
Yeah, we've heard of it. We've never been. No, we
Yeah.
went to a picking party at the closed down airport on down there. That was pretty cool. But
Awesome.
yeah.
This is pretty cool. They only have it once a month on nights that there's a full moon because they don't have any electricity up there. So people wander around with their guitars and fiddles and upright basses and banjos, and a little group will start to play, and somebody else will join in, somebody will go away. And
Cool.
It's a cool.
Very cool.
It just reminded me of that when you said it.
Yeah.
So, how are you finding coming here adds to what you do as artists in Sweden?
I think that the most inspiring thing for me here is that what I bring from where I grew up and the music that I listen to is looked on as unique here. So, because in Sweden it's more like, okay, we all have the same heritage, we all have the same influences and everything. But when I come here and I'm, for example, in a writing session and people say, wow, that's cool, that's a new perspective. I'm like, it is. But that's the mix, I think, that is the intriguing part and the fun part and inspiring. Plus, just being around people who love music and just enjoy it. It's not only about like making money or making it big. It actually is an environment where people pick up a guitar and we end up jamming in the kitchen just because there was a guitar and we can, So, and We have part of that in our house where we live and the friends that we have. But I think actually that's something that we brought back from here because we're like, why aren't we doing this at home? You know.
And also to be in an environment in the entire city is all about music.
Yeah.
That's unheard of as far as I know. You know, that the music and the songs and the storytelling and you know just playing music has such a big like upfront position in the community. That's pretty cool.
Now, what city do you live in Sweden?
In Stockholm.
Stockholm.
Yeah, outside,
That's a big city.
Yeah, we live on the countryside, like 30 minutes outside, so we get the, you know, not the hills, but the acres and, you know, like the cows and horses and that. So that's why we like to be in the city here, because that's also a contrast to what we're used to. So even though we have, you know, Stockholm 30 minutes, we tend to not spend too much time there. Yeah.
We talked off camera, and I wanted to ask you about the Swedish contingent in Nashville, because I mentioned Silver Drive 35, they're Swedish, and they come here kind of frequently.
Yeah.
And you mentioned other artists from Sweden are coming here quite a bit.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is also what we talked about before, that people tend to be very keen to slap a label on things, and as far as country music goes, in Nashville, maybe what I find and what is also super inspiring to me is that when you come over here, you will find bluegrass, of course, and traditional country music, but to me, I feel like Nashville has become not only the center of traditional country music, it has become like the epicenter of just brilliant musicians, songwriters, kind of regardless of the genre, it's a broader perspective. And I mean, we could go out on a Wednesday night and watch Time Jumpers.
Yeah.
We can go somewhere else on a Friday night and watch a soul band or with a horn section, or you know, and
It really is Music City.
Yeah, it really is.
I think that is what draws people here and what inspires people.
And I also think, you know, we have a huge country music artist in Sweden. Her name is Jill Johnson, and she has been coming here for almost 20 years for songwriting. But then when she started, you know, her career, it was more maybe the traditional country, but now she brought a new sound that also is more towards the Americana, and it opens up, you know, she has a TV show that's aired on TV, and people are like, wow, this is so cool. So I think that also, you know, is like a commercial for the city, because Swedes like music, and we like, you know, we like country music, Americana music, all this folky stuff, music. So yeah.
And internationally, there seems to be less of the dividing the lines, putting different styles of music into boxes. It's just, you know, I loved it when I first moved to the UK and went into Virgin Records, and it's just all alphabetical. There were no country, rock. It's just you look for an artist.
Yeah.
And that those barriers seem to bring out the best in all the genres.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
I think so too. All the crossover collaborations that are done nowadays, it's
and so many artists that are coming out that they're almost their own genre of music. Where do you classify somebody like Ed Sheeran? He's doing pop, he's doing rock, he's doing EDM, he's doing folk, singer-songwriter stuff, opera. You know?
Yeah, and that's liberating, I think, and that's what music is, a way to express yourself. And that might be, you know, you might want to go in this direction on a Monday, but you want to move here 2 weeks later, and I think that should be the freedom. And I also think a lot of artists that are more independent, they're not, you know, they don't have anybody to tell them that you need to follow this direction, and that's also liberating, because then they get to express who they are. And
because when you get into a label situation, they're saying this is it's not audience, it's demographic. You need to be attracting females 25 to 34.
Yes.
And it's more of an advertising kind of thing.
It's like selling a product, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's a different way, and that's why I kind of more like to just I mean, if you look us up on Spotify, it's gonna be like this song and this song, and well, you know, it's going to be a little different, but that's all right.
I love it because we've talked, or I've talked with friends of mine in different countries, and they're talking about how radio is changing, and you know, they're taking personality out of it. And I said it's gone from commercials being the stuff between the music to the music being the stuff between the commercials now.
Yeah.
And so it's bad, but at the same time it can be good because they're not so concerned about ticking boxes about what this has to be. Well, let's just put some music in there. So it exposes some different things.
Yeah.
How about doing a song for us? And
Yeah, let's
so
do a
we
song.
can let people have a sample of what you do.
Yeah, let's do a song. Let's hope we remember it. Which one are we doing first? Okay.
All in life she's been alone. No one there, no place to go. Taking care of her mama's mess. Running off to school, try to do her best. Her father, she don't know his name. Her mama says that she's to blame for her drinking and her feeling blue. Without it not there, she turned on you. Girl, it's not you, and it's not your fault. Your bravery wins 1,000 battles you can't see. See, you know you become and strengthens every part of me. You're stronger than most, and your heart's not closed. Standing tall and beautiful in front of me. Dark hole, a young man that killed at night, but someone who was out there looking for a fight. Girl, it's not you, and it's not your fault. Your bravery wins 1,000 battles you can't see. See, you know you become strengthens every part of me. You're stronger than most, and your heart's not closed. Standing tall and beautiful in front of me. Your faith is not deterred by those who cannot see. The power you possess can move the mountain. I see a warrior, a fighter, a women opener. You might not know it yet, but you had it from the start. You're ugly, you think you're bad. Everyone leaves you alone inside. I say you're beautiful in your own way. No one can replace you. Your bravery wins 1,000 battles you can't see. See, you know you become strengthens every part of me. You're stronger than most, and your heart's not closed. Standing tall and beautiful in front of me. Keep walking, brave girl. Keep walking. Keep walking, brave girl. Keep walking, brave girl. Keep walking. Keep walking, brave girl. Your bravery wins 1,000 battles you can't see.
Wow. That's really nice.
Thank you.
You're watching the Nashville Access Facebook show with Camo, my special guest from Sweden, Thyra. It's spelled T-H-R-Y.
T-H-Y-R-A.
That's what I meant.
Thyra with an H.
That's a great song. Your voices go together so well. It's a nice blend how you trade off lead vocals and harmony. It's really fun.
20-something years of marriage will do that soon.
It's like, yeah.
When you write, do you, I mean, you obviously have, you're really great with English, and I think most people from Sweden and states surrounding that understand English and speak it very well. Do you ever have to do that conversion where you're looking for a word in English that just you can't figure it out?
Well, I had one before when we were talking. It's like, what's that word? But when I write, or when we write, it's usually a matter of the order you put the words, because sometimes I'll write something, I'll be like, that's not how you would say it in English.
You
That's
might
the
build a
Swedish.
sentence in a Swedish way.
Yeah, it's like Google Translate.
Yeah, really weird.
It's pretty close, but sometimes things are way out of
Yeah,
order.
and sometimes there are expressions that we use in Sweden that you can't translate,
Right.
and vice versa too. So, but that has actually a few times become like a strength, because I've said something in a writing session and like, oh, I never heard that put in that way, but that's pretty cool. Let's do. So it might not be something that is said, but it can still work. You know.
Yeah, it's funny. The order can really work for you, because years ago George Strait had a hit with "Blue Clear Sky."
Yeah.
But normally it's a
Clear blue sky. Yeah.
But it worked for him because that's what everybody noticed right off the bat was "Blue Clear Sky." And
Yeah.
said, oh, the order, but it works.
Yeah,
It's neat.
it works. So, no, but it's that's why also I think it's great to be more writers in the room, because you can always get that new perspective, or someone will take what you just said and said, what if? And then it turns. And
So
that's exciting.
writers out there, get a Swede in the room.
Yeah.
Put a new perspective.
Yeah.
How do you find it as a couple and as a duo, performing, songwriting, recording together? Do you ever shut off? Like, is it hard to say, okay, we're at home and we're just parents to the kids now?
Not really. But I think when we met, we both had our own, like, starting our careers separately, so we had kind of those roles figured out. And we also do work a lot separately, so we come together and do projects and so, but we also work with other artists and backing up other artists, and so we get a lot of time away from each other. And so maybe that's why, I don't know, it works.
It's great. You
Or
said,
maybe I'm talking too much. I'm saying it works. How do you feel about this? It's like a therapy couch.
Well, like I said, after 20 years of marriage, this works. You talk, no, I'm quiet.
you just kind of go, okay, that works. You seem to really be bringing the best of what the musical community is like in Nashville back home to Stockholm. Has that been a culture shock for audiences with you?
Well, maybe a little bit in the best possible way. I think, as far as I know, like the listening room that you have over there, it's not so well established in Scandinavia, and it's starting to come over there. And like I said before, with the connection to the Swedish traditional folk music, that is more similar to what we have over there. But as far as like the pop genre and the music on the radio goes, to have a listening room for that, a listening room scene for that music is not so common in Sweden. So, but we're getting there.
We're getting there, yeah, and also like having a round with
with
songwriters, you know, on stage.
That's a uniquely Nashville
It's
thing
very
that's
unique.
been exported all over the world.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool because people are like, wow, and it's so much fun, and you get that, you know, the writer, again, you get the story behind the song, and that's, people are interested in that. It's like, I think there's we are consuming music in a new way.
Anyway, yeah.
And I think this is almost like a little revolt against that like playlist thing, because you're never listening to one album. You're just hearing songs and just sitting down and hearing the story and hearing the song. It's again, it's something different.
We know a couple from Italy, and they live outside of Milan, and they're called 12N, husband and wife duo. They've been coming to Nashville for years, and they've gone back home and they're doing songwriter rounds outside of Milan.
Yeah.
And I mean, who would think
Yeah.
that here's this really Nashville element transported to there in Stockholm and places like that? It's just amazing.
And another thing we kind of brought over is the house concert concept. And we're not alone doing that, but a lot of Swedes they've been here, they've done the house concert thing, they're like, why are we doing this? And you explain to people that like, a concert in my house? And yeah, just bring some friends, and then we do it, and they're like, oh my God, this is the greatest experience. And we get to play our original music. There's no one asking us to do a cover.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, just sing your songs. I want to hear the stories. And that's actually a fantastic platform to, meet your audience in a new way. So we've been doing quite a lot of that in Sweden. It's very, very appreciated.
I feel that people are starting to open their eyes towards listening more to the storytelling and
The lyrics.
lyrics than just the show. And I was this spring, I think it was, I was part of the Country Music Association, CMA. They did a tour through Europe and Scandinavia with the songwriters night kind of thing. So it was a couple of writers from over here, and then for each country they added a couple of local songwriters, and we had a round. And so I was part of the concerts in Stockholm, Helsinki, and Oslo.
Wow.
And people went crazy over it. It was a lot of fun.
That's
so,
excellent.
So it's getting there for sure.
You want to do another song?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
We're gonna try to do first time we do this live. So it's our latest single. It's called "Where Are You Now?"
It's not a question you ask yourselves quite a bit.
Yeah, where are you now? Where are we?
Yeah.
Good thing we have our, little iPhones that can
Yeah.
tell us where we
Yeah.
are.
Time after time, I keep telling myself it's a losing game. Trying to catch up, but all I hear is the sound of a freight train. You say it's not needed time, you still hold my heart. I was foolish enough to believe this ending could be a start. Where are you now when the storm is over? Where are you now when I'm standing still? Where are you now? I'm calling you over and over. You said it's all in the past. Where are you now? Long nights after pointless fights, there's no endless way. Like ships in the dark, we're an ocean apart, drifting astray. no one dared to say. Where are you now when the storm is over? Where are you now when I'm standing still? Where are you now? I'm calling you over and over. You said it's all in the past. But where are you is over? Where are you now when I'm standing still? Where are you now? I'm calling you over and over. You said it's all in the past. Where are you now?
Wow, pretty song.
Thanks.
And you said that's brand new, and
Yeah.
nobody's heard it yet.
Well, it's out there. We released it, but we never played it
Played it
live.
live.
So
First
yeah,
time.
it's
Well,
fun.
Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's
Thank
excellent.
you.
Collectively, they are known as Thyra, Thyra. Karen, Joran,
Yes.
got it?
Yeah, you got
Say
it.
Thank you for being here.
Well, thank
Thanks
you
for
so
having
much for having us.
Come back again.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, it'd be great to have you,
Love to.
and we'll keep in touch on
Yeah,
our phones.
Yeah.
They are Thyra, and they're from Stockholm, Sweden. Make sure you check them out. You're on Spotify
Yeah,
and all those
we're
places.
everywhere.
Social media,
Yeah, Thyra Official.
Thyra Official.
Yeah.
Cool. Check them out. You'll really like them. Thanks for watching the Nashville Access Facebook show. I'm Camo. You can catch me every Saturday afternoon from 3 till 7 here on Hippie Radio 94.5. Every Sunday at midday on Chris Country in the UK and in Australia, 88.9 Tamworth Radio with Jody Crosby and John Wolfe on Thursday mornings. We'll see you next time.